After Ethan's hand is severed in a workplace mishap, he finds himself unemployed. Subsequently, his wife expels him from their home along with their young son, oblivious to the twist of fate that would lead her to seek his assistance merely 2 years down the line. Ethan, a man of high repute, stood at 30 years of age, radiating charm and unwavering loyalty to his late wife, Emily, who had succumbed to cancer a year prior. He often found himself ruminating, "Emily's place is irreplaceable. It would require a lifetime to encounter such a gentle soul." Thus, he firmly resisted the notion of seeking new love. On a day marked by both melancholy and remembrance, Ethan, accompanied by his 2-year-old son Ryan, made their way back from the cemetery where they had commemorated the first anniversary of Emily's passing. It was during this journey that their path intersected with that of an unfamiliar woman. "Excuse me, miss, are you all right?" Ethan hastened to her aid. The woman had become entangled, her shoe heel ensnared in the crevice of a storm grate. Amidst her evident embarrassment, she found herself compelled to forsake the damaged footwear. "I'm all right," laughed the lady as she stood embarrassed without one shoe. Ethan felt sorry for the helpless woman and offered her a ride. During this time, he introduced himself and learned that Pamela, the woman, was divorced and had no children. 10 minutes later, "Thanks for putting yourself out for me. That means a lot," she said, blushing as she got down in front of her house and slammed shut the car door. Ethan assumed that was all, and just as he was about to leave with his son, Pamela appeared near his window and gave him her contact details. "Call me," she said, blushing. That fateful evening, Ethan had no idea where this would lead him. He and Pamela started meeting often. She loved cuddling with little Ryan and even helped babysit him when Ethan went to work. He was a lead carpenter in a private furniture company. Gradually, Ethan fell for Pamela. He felt she would not just make a perfect wife, but be the ideal stepmother to his little son. "My son needs a mom, and I cannot find anyone better than Pam," he thought, and immediately proposed marriage to her a few months later. Unsurprisingly, she agreed. Ethan and Pamela tied the knot in an intimate ceremony. They went on a honeymoon with their son and lived the best days of their lives for 3 years. But a day after toasting their 3rd wedding anniversary, Pamela made a strange request. She wanted to start a business and needed an investor. She could not think of anybody else other than Ethan for this. "Honey, what I was thinking, why don't we sell this house? I'm sure I'll have a huge turnover by the end of the next 2 quarters, and we can buy a bigger mansion. I promise to return your money," she told Ethan. He believed her and immediately readied the paperwork. He sold his house and invested in Pamela's business. Then he took his son and moved into her little house out of town without anticipating the storm that was arriving in their lives. Everything appeared perfect until one day when Pamela got a call from Ethan's office about a mishap. She hurried to the hospital, where the doctors told her, "We are sorry, Mrs. Turner. His right hand was severely wounded and had to be amputated." Ethan could no longer be normal or go to work after that, though he used a prosthetic hand. He lost his job and stayed home all the time, frustrating Pamela. She kept quiet and adjusted for the first 3 months following the incident, but she could no longer endure seeing Ethan idle. "I have to cook, clean, and look after your annoying child," she argued one day. "And then, I have to bring money to this house. Am I the man, or are you the man of this house? Why don't you find a job soon instead of lying on the couch like a lazy idiot?" Pamela's words disheartened Ethan. He never expected she would say this and argued, "But you promised to return the money I gave you, remember? I sold my house for you. I'm sure I'll be able to start something new once I get my money back." This maddened Pamela. 2 days later, Ethan returned home from church with his 5-year-old son Ryan and saw their stuff thrown out. Their suitcases were lying outside, and the house was locked. He learned that Pamela had booted them out of her house. "I am leasing my house. You and your son take your things and leave," she told him. But Pam, where will we go? We have nowhere, and I sold my house for you," Ethan exclaimed. She replied, "I don't care. It compensates for the trouble I went through to feed you and your stupid son for 3 months. Forget the house and forget me. I've found a nice partner and want to be happy. Goodbye and never come back. I'll send you the divorce papers soon." Ethan was crushed, walking away with his little son. "Jesus, where will we go? We have nowhere to go and nobody to help us," he cried. The dad and son arrived at the local metro station for shelter, and it started raining. Ethan wrapped his son in an old blanket and cried as passers-by stopped and wondered. But nobody asked him anything until a curious older woman stepped in. "Young man, what happened? Why are you crying?" "I work at the counter. I have been watching you for a long time. You look worried. Is everything all right?" she asked him. She took him to her room and gave him and Ryan a warm drink. Comforted by her kindness, Ethan told the woman, Doris, everything about him. "It was not my fault. I lost my ability to work after the accident. I feel like a loser. I don't know how I'm going to raise my son," he sobbed. Doris wiped his tears and said a few kind words that lightened his heart and motivated him never to give up. "Son, true talent does not rely on one's hands or legs to be successful. Determination and a heart to achieve are all you need to come up in life. Don't give up just yet because you have a lot of work. You have an entire future staring back at you. How can you give up so easily? Get up and fight back. I'll help you." Doris introduced Ethan to her son, Michael, who ran a furniture company in a neighboring town. He learned about Ethan's unique carpentry skills and hired him as a manager. He and Ryan moved into the company's staff quarters. It took Ethan 2 years of steadfast devotion to his work to get back on his feet again. He became wealthy and could afford everything he once thought was far from his reach due to his disability. Ethan and Ryan settled into their expansive new mansion, reveling in their days of contentment. Memories of Pamela had faded into the background, their focus on the present, until an unexpected knock at the door revealed her standing there. "You! What brings you here, and why?" Ethan's voice was steeped in anger as he confronted Pamela, who had come seeking assistance. Her pleas unveiled a story of betrayal and fraud by her new boyfriend. "He vanished with all my money. I sold my house, believing he aided my business expansion, but everything crumbled. Nowhere to turn until I thought of you. I need your help," she sobbed, collapsing to her knees. Ethan contemplated deeply and responded, "I can arrange a hotel room and consider hiring a lawyer. Beyond that, my hands are tied. Meet me at my office tomorrow." Ethan shut the door on Pamela's disappointed face. Her cries and appeals went unanswered as he stood firm, resolute in safeguarding the tranquility he found. Neither he nor Ryan looked back, determined to leave the past behind and sever ties with Pamela for good.